Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good afternoon, folks, and thank you for tuning in with me once again for another edition of True Conservative Radio. And, of course, I'm your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you for tuning in with me here. Unfortunately, I haven't been on here for some time, and that has a lot to do with a lot of high blood pressure issues and yada, 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 if you will. I really don't want to talk about that kind of crap. But, I'm coming on here because there's a lot of political issues I definitely want to discuss, and I definitely want some input on the audience on this, so you can give me a call at any time at 646-652-4869. But once again, I haven't been on Blog Talk Radio but a long time, and I'm trying to get on here, and I'm having technical difficulties once again, folks. And I'm sorry if you're tuning in with me and you're wondering why in the blue hell there is no chat room. The reason that you have no chat room is because damn Blog Talk Radio is screwing up once again. And, of course, I've got to calm down, folks. A big reason of my lapses in shows, if you will, has a lot to do with the fact that, according to my general physician, this show has a lot to do with my blood pressure and other health problems. If you check back in the archive, folks, you know that I'm very passionate about what I do on here on the Blog Talk Radio Network about true conservative values and that sort of thing. And apparently it's affected my health to a certain extent. So I've tried to lean back from it, and at the same time I've tried to lean back from some juicy steaks and other activities that would help onset high blood pressure and other such nonsense that I stated for previous. What I strongly suggest, this is just a side note, I'm not trying to give anybody any damn medical advice or anything of that nature, but I strongly suggest to go to one of them damn acupuncture thingamabobs. It's been statistically proven, and you can do the research yourself if you don't believe me. Remember, folks, I don't ever tell you to take me at my word. I always tell you, if you don't believe me, go ahead and look it up because it's out there. I mean, you have resources to figure out if what you are hearing, what you're seeing anywhere can be told as the truth by the internet. But acupuncture can help reduce high blood pressure close to 50%. Close to 50%. It's 40-something%, but close to 50%. I strongly suggest to all you people out there that are suffering from high blood pressure, go out there and try to approach the notion, if you will, and maybe that'll help you out. But anyway, folks, we're suffering through some technical difficulties, like I stated. I'm trying to bring up the chat room option here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and unfortunately, it's not letting me do diddly. All it's doing is acting like a complete jackass, like I'm used to on here. Every time I attempt to do a show, there's always got to be something wrong on the Blog Talk Radio Network. What the hell's going on out here? I haven't done a show in who in the hell knows when, since the last goddamn blue moon, and these pieces of trash can't even get the damn process to run properly. Anyway, I'm not going to harp on it, folks. We have a lot to talk about. I want you, the people that are listening in, don't play with your pecker shafts. I'd like for you to get on the phone, 646-652-4869. Give me a call if you have anything you want to chime in about, anything you want to talk to me about. If you're hearing anything that bugs you or you agree with or disagree with, I don't give a damn. Grow yourself a pair. Get on the nearest telephone and give me a call right now, because that's what we're going to be doing for the next couple of hours, is we're going to be discussing political issues, social issues that actually affect America. But anyway, folks, all that personal mumbo-jumbo about me aside, we want to talk about the main issues at hand, folks. And the main issues at hand is the American general public's future. You see, I was going to do a show yesterday, but when I saw that Hillary Clinton, when I saw that Hillary Rodham Clinton won the Pennsylvania primary caucus. I mean, who in the hell knows what the hell they're having out there in that ridiculous state? And if you're from Pennsylvania, I'm sorry, with all due respect to you folks out there. I know you all aren't a bunch of tards, but I'm sorry. But this just underscores, folks. This underscores what I have been saying all along. And you can look back in the archives, folks, if you don't believe me. I've been saying this from day one of this program. Never underestimate the Clinton slime machine. Didn't I say that, folks? I told you so. I told all you pieces of crap so. All you people that were sitting over here anointing Barack Hussein Obama as the second coming, as if this guy was just going to come in and just, clean house, kick ass, take names. I told you pieces of crap, and you can look back in the archive, and I'm glad that I'm up on here today, post-Pennsylvania primary. I'm telling all you pieces of crap that have sat over here and chastised me, even though each and every one of my prognostications have come to pass, and that has been documented by the archives that I come up on the Blog Talk Radio Network and conduct. You people know it. People that have been listening to me for a long time have known it, but I'm sick and tired of people, and I don't mean to be singling anybody out here. But let me tell you, I've had a long leave of absence, and I'm still having jag-offs in the blogosphere or here in the Blog Talk Radio Network trying to talk out of the side of their mouths when in reference to yours truly, and I really don't damn appreciate it. The only reason people are pissed off at me is because I'm not voting for any of these pieces of crap. All right, I'm a true conservative. I'm not going to vote for this blatant liberal John McCain just because he has an R in front of his name. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'm not going to vote for Barack Hussein Obama. I'm not voting for any of these pieces of trash. And the reason I'm not voting for them is the same reason you shouldn't be voting for them. I mean, what are they talking about, really? I mean, did you see this ridiculous excuse of a mainstream media out here? I mean, they were actually polling beer drinkers. Can you believe this? Hillary Clinton seems to have the edge in beer-guzzling pieces of cheese whiz guzzling trash. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, is this what we're reducing politics to, folks? I mean, is this what the forefathers had in mind when constructing the greatest document known to man, and that's the United States Constitution? I mean, are you kidding me? Anyway, folks, I'm sorry if you're tuning in with me and you're not seeing a chat room option here. I'm trying to get the chat room up and running, folks. I really am. I appreciate the chat room. I'm trying, and unfortunately, we're having technical difficulties like usual when it comes to the Blog Talk Radio Network and its facilities and its online facilities. It's a bunch of crap. And it makes me want to puke, frankly. That's what it does. It makes me want to goddamn puke. But anyway, folks, I want to let everybody know that all these Barack Hussein Obama supporters that were sitting over here anointing him as the great savior of the Democratic Party, I told all of you. You can look back in the archive if you don't believe me. I'm telling you, folks, I had told you all along that this man was going to fall in the end. And the reason he was going to fall in the end is because everybody underestimates the Clinton slime machine. I mean, Hillary Clinton did not do this to lose, you pieces of trash. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, and you know what really upsets me the most is that you got Hillary Rodham Clinton, and for all you folks that know me, and for all you folks that are listening to me or have listened to me, whether live or in the archive, you know that I am a blatant, unapologetic, anti-feminist. and let me tell you, I'm sure there's a lot of women out there saying, oh, he's an anti-feminist. Well, let me tell you, there's good reason to be an anti-feminist. And all of you folks that have listened to me countless times again, you know why. And I strongly suggest all of you that are sitting over there choking on your tuna on rice sandwich while listening to yours truly over here, when I'm talking against feminism, I strongly suggest for you to look in some of those archive segments, and then you'll understand the true foundation of why I dislike this feminist movement that has ruined the American family, that has ruined the social landscape of America, that has ruined the very sanctity of humanity. And you morons out there, especially you ultra-liberal pansy asses, you long-haired liberal bastards, and you hairy, armpitted, bull-dyke feminist pieces of trash, you people are going to frown upon me. You're going to look on me in absolute disgust because you imbeciles know I'm telling the truth. You do it, and you know it, and I know it, and anybody who has any damn common sense knows it too. As you can see, folks, I'm starting to get a little riled up here, you know, every time I talk about politics, because let me tell you something, folks, politics, social issues, it should be a passionate subject to talk about. You see, everybody out here wants to just talk about it like it's some nonchalant piece of trash that you think about on the back of your mind. It should be at the focal point of your perception, you piece of crap. That's why we have so many damn problems out here. We're submitting to the damn pussification of America. The absolute pussification of America. We're submitting to that right now, folks. And I want to hear from you. It's unfortunate that I don't have the chat room option here on the Blog Talk Radio. I'm trying to see. Yep, it won't go on. I'm telling you, we're having technical difficulties here at the Blog Talk Radio Network, folks, like usual. And unfortunately, I cannot get the chat room option to work on this piece of crap. And how convenient is that, folks? But anyway, I want to hear from you. And let me tell you something. If you disagree with me, if you're a bull-dyke, muff-diving feminist or an ultra-liberal pansy ass, one of these males that uses a loofah or gets a manicure, whatever the crap might be, I'd just challenge you to grow yourself a pair. Get to the nearest phone line and give me a call, 646-652-4869. You give me a call right now. You know what's funny is I get a lot of email from you pricks. You know what I'm talking about? All of you liberal pansy. I get email after email. I get threats. I get all kinds of crap. But when it comes down to it, you can't even call up my show because you're scared crapless. It's ridiculous, folks. How convenient. Everybody talks real big when they have a sheet over their head, don't they? Isn't that right? Won't you come out, you piece of trash? But you see, nobody's going to call in. You know what they're going to do? They're going to probably badger my little, message option. You see, now that we don't have a chat room option available because of the damn technical difficulties, people are going to have access to my little message board in correlation with this show, and they're going to badger the crap out of that. They're going to put all kinds of vile words, profanity, all kinds of garbage, which I don't really appreciate. But that's the modern-day American psyche out here, folks. That's liberalism at its finest. And that's what people need to understand. All right, and that's what I've been trying to say every time I get on here. That's why I have high blood pressure, because I'm sitting here trying to let everybody out there in the American public know that liberalism and feminism is communism, you morons. That's what I've been saying all along. And, of course, I bet all of you Nimrods that are out there chastising me about making such a critique about the general American political thought process around here. I've told all of you, if you don't believe me, why don't you go take a look at Frankfurt University and those pieces of trash professors that wrote this crap. Yeah, they wrote about this crap in the 30s, in the 40s, you imbeciles, in the 20s. They wrote about this crap before it even became chic, before political correctness became chic, before the feminist movements became chic. But you see, you morons out there that are criticizing me, you imbeciles that are out there just spreading slanderous lies, just provide nothing but absolute linguistic filth about me, you won't provide that type of substance on the debating table. You want to know why? Because you're an ignorant piece of trash. That's right. You're an ignorant piece of trash with no substance. That's why nobody calls my show. I get all kinds of numbers, folks. I get all kinds of numbers. It's unfortunate that I got high blood pressure and I can't come up on here on a consistent basis anymore to yell at these liberal pieces of trash, to yell at these wannabe Republicans out here, these liberal Republicans. It's a shame that I can't do this on a consistent basis anymore. But that's why they keep talking trash, because they know I'm telling the truth. I'm not sitting over here abiding by somebody else's thought process. This is America. Remember that, folks? Remember the American Constitution? Remember the American way of life? We're all turning into a bunch of sheeple. Bunch of morons out here. Here we are. I bet, and I go out on a consistent basis, folks, and talk to the general American public, face to face. And here we have a case before the Supreme Court that was just heard questioning the validity of the Second Amendment, folks. And I bet you none of you Nimrods, with the exception of a few of you political junkies out there who absorb the information but shove it up your clogged up colon hole and don't know what to do with it, you wouldn't know about it. I bet you don't even know that the Second Amendment is being questioned before the Supreme Court. Nimrods don't know about garbage. You want to know why? We got a liberal media out here that everybody listens to on a faithful basis, and they actually think they're getting informed out here. But all they're doing is informing us what animals nearest Paris Hilton's crotch. The next sex tape from one of these philanderous teenage actress whore bags. That's what they're informing us about, folks. And it makes me sick. Whatever happened to America here, all right? Whatever happened to America's best interest? All right, whatever happened to America first? That sort of thing. We're losing that concept because everybody is too worried about feeding their fat asses. And if they're not feeding their fat asses, they're out there trying to buy a $4,000 plasma screen. They're trying to put everything on debt. And what these morons don't understand is all the materialistic widgets that they're consuming are no longer made in America. So all the money they're blowing on all these ridiculous electronic gadgets, these materialistic widgets, they're all coming from China, you moron. China, the same country that ripped off your jobs because of these ridiculous imbalanced trade deals that were signed by the power-hungry autocrats that we send to Washington. And yet nobody wants to talk about this crap. Everybody's playing with their pecker shafts. Everybody is tickling their poop shoots and just talking about the pomp that this liberal, ridiculous media keeps feeding us every damn day. It's ridiculous. No substance whatsoever out here, folks. And it makes me sick. That's why I got high blood pressure, you piece of crap. Anyway, folks, I better calm down before I have a goddamn coronary here on the air here. But I definitely want to hear from you. I'm trying to get this damn chat room up and running, but unfortunately we're having technical difficulties here at the Blog Talk Radio Network, which is nothing new, for Christ's sake. It's ridiculous. It makes me want to puke up, I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, I want to hear from you folks. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, I don't give a damn. Grow yourself a pair. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. You can give me a call right now, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. I want to hear from the American public out here. Do you really give two rats' asses about your country? How about that? How about that? Go to your nearest mirror right now. Look at yourself in the mirror, all right? All right, now I'll give you some time. Get your fat ass up and go to the nearest mirror, okay? Now that you're in front of that mirror, I want you to look at yourself in the eyes. Look at yourself in the face and say, am I really an American? Because if you think that you are an American, you're not doing diddly to save it, you piece of crap. And what do I mean by saving it? Well, what I've been talking about the whole time. You take a look at the fact that America is morally bankrupt out here. The American family is becoming extinct, folks. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, that's first and foremost. All right, we have a prevalence of single-parent families out here, and all of a sudden, you know, traditional, true conservative folks like myself are supposed to just palate this crap like it's just everyday social evolution. Well, that's horse crap. And then you get all this making marriage like, you know, something casual. I mean, you've got people out here, especially these women out here, these ridiculous feminist women that are equating having 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers as woman liberation. They're equating having 5 or 6 different divorces, changing divorces like they're changing maxi pads or some crap. They're equating that to woman liberation. And this is what's morally bankrupt in America, and yet nobody wants to talk about this crap. Everybody wants to talk about scholastic, ridiculous, collateral matters that mean nothing, that really mean nothing to you and me. But they don't want to talk about things that are in the social landscape, that are taking part in our modern-day economy. They don't want to talk about these subject matters. Nobody does. And that's what pisses me off, folks. That's what makes me get my damn blood boiling out here. That's why I got damn high blood pressure. And let me tell you something. I don't give a damn if I croak on one of these damn broadcasts. I'm going to continue to come up on here and make sure that some of these numbskulls that are coming up on here and listening to my broadcast get it through their thick, fat, disgusting, hot dog-eating head that America is going down the tubes and all you're doing is feeding your fat ass. Put the freaking fork down, you moron. Put the freaking fork down and get yourself a book. Get yourself some sort of reading material and start understanding what in the blue hell is controlling your life. And you know what's controlling our life? Us. But you know what we're doing? We're sitting on our thumbs. That's what we're doing. Not even participating in the very government our forefathers gave to us. We're being a bunch of ignorant buffooneries. That's just great. You should be proud of yourself. That's why, you know, I don't understand why there isn't a politician out there that doesn't just utilize as its political slogan, the public sucks. Because let me tell you something, folks, the public does suck. The American public sucks because they're nothing but a bunch of fat jelly-ass bastards that, what's funny about the general American public? You go into any social arena, anywhere, okay, whether it's your friends, your family, a party, it doesn't really damn matter. You're going to hear one fat jelly-ass blowhard sitting here telling some sort of ridiculous opinion, and he's going to pass it off as fact. Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you noticed that every fat, jelly-ass, cottage cheese-ass blowhard has an opinion about something, and they try to pass it off as fact? You know what's so dangerous about that? Is the morons that are listening are actually going to interpret that as a fact, and they're going to go tell other morons, and that's how this crap starts, folks. That's how it starts. Get myself a damn water here. I'm telling you, I don't care if I have a damn coronary. I don't care. I don't care. Just as long as there's a couple of morons out there that get something from this crap. I mean, this is our American government, you morons. But no, everybody wants to get the latest and greatest gadget to shove up their colon pipes. Well, that's what they want, huh? You piece of trash. Anyway, folks, I'm trying to get the chat room up and running, and unfortunately, the Blog Talk Radio Network is acting like a jag-off, and it's not letting me do so. So forward all complaints to them, please. But I beg you to give me a call, 646-652-4869. You know, I have a lot of folks that like and appreciate and listen to my program that email me all the time and say, you know what, Ghost, I'd love to call in, but I'm just a little intimidated to call in. And I ask them, well, why are you intimidated to call in? And they, they're intimidated because I'm so passionate about what I believe in. You know, I scream. You can hear the damn veins popping out of my head. I'm really passionate. I mean what I say what I mean out here. But that shouldn't give you the apprehension of not calling. You need to give me a call, 646-652-4869, especially if you don't agree with me. Especially if you're one of these little pansy-ass pricks out here that are emailing me all this mumbo-jumbo, and yet you don't have the gall or the balls to get on the damn telephone and give me a call and tell me why in the blue hell you hate me so damn bad. That's what makes me laugh the most, you piece of trash, frankly. That's what makes me laugh. Anyway, I'm trying to get the chat room up and running, folks, and it's just not happening. I'm clicking in and out of it, not happening. I'm sorry if you wanted to chat with us this evening. We just don't have that option, thanks to the Blog Talk Radio Network. But I encourage you once again to call me up, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Just too many things to talk about, you know. I told everybody that the Hillary Rotten Clinton machine was going to win this crap. And she's going to win it. And I've told you, and you can look back in the archives, it's dated, it's timed. I've been saying it all along, you piece of trash. And lo and behold, it's finally coming true. Let me tell you something. I'm getting a little lightheaded up in here. Let me go ahead and lay down. Have myself a little early shrink session with you folks here. You know, what's unfortunate, folks, is that there's just a bunch of uncertainty ahead. That's why I'm so passionate. That's why I scream, you know. That's why I get so upset about everything. Because there's a whole degree of uncertainty that all these candidates, and I don't give a damn who you're voting for or you know, who you got a hard on for. I don't care. These people aren't talking about issues that affect America or that are going to affect America. I mean, these morons are talking about ridiculous mumbo-jumbo. We got a devaluing dollar out here that is no longer has integrity in an international community. I mean, the majority of the international community are now accepting euros. We even have high-end retail stores in New York City exclusively and only accepting euro dollars. I mean, this is how devalued, this is how ridiculous our currency has become out here. We've got all kinds of debt. We have an unfortunate economic precedent that we have established that no one seems to talk about, and every time I attempt to talk about it, you got these moron armchair economists out here that try to, you know, give you a couple of big words and say it's no big deal. That's a bunch of malarkey, and anybody who has any damn common sense knows it. But the economic precedent that the United States has set is that we consume more than we produce. And, you know, you're going to have a lot of morons out here that are going to give us quotes about, well, we produce more than this country. Well, we produce more than that country. It doesn't matter. America should be the leading producer of the world out here, and we're not. And you see, that's what everybody seems to be bypassing out here. We should be trying to look out for our interest. The means of production are no longer in the United States of America, period. Anybody who tries to debate that fact is an absolute moron. And it makes me sick when they try to do it. But we consume more than we produce, and the only thing we produce, entertainment and cheeseburgers, like I've stated over and over and over again. And this is an economic situation that nobody, any of the candidates, not even the damn politicians that are in the Congress or the Senate, nobody is talking about this crap. Everybody's talking about increasing the minimum wage. Well, that's great. We increase the minimum wage. It's going to increase the price of goods. So what good does that make? It doesn't make a difference out here. We need to instill integrity back into our currency, you morons. Nobody's talking talking about this crap. And the reason nobody's talking about it is because everybody's got a couple of fists up their crack. Anyway, folks, I challenge you, if you think that I'm just talking out my derriere, if you disagree with me, by all means, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. I'm talking true conservative politics out here. This is straight talk. We can't just sit here and sit on our thumbs and think that everything's going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. None of these candidates are talking about anything. You look at these ridiculous stage stump speech events, these town hall meetings, these are the most ridiculous excuses of a supposed sampling of the American general public out here. They're not asking the questions that are going to affect you and me, for Christ's sake. And what's going to affect you and me? Well, how about this economy? How about this slippery slope down socialist path we're about to hit in May? And what does May mean? Well, we're going to get ready for those economic stimulus package checks, courtesy of the United States government via a credit loan by China. And what are morons going to do with those economic stimulus checks? They're either going to pay credit debt or they're going to go out and buy Chinese goods. It's ridiculous. And nobody's talking about it, folks. And I'm sorry that I'm sitting here, I'm passionate, I'm screaming my damn head off. I'm having health problems because of this crap, but I really don't care. I'm going to continue to do it anyway, and we're going to take a few calls here because I've been sitting here screaming my head off because nobody's talking about these issues. But we got a few people here that want to talk. We're going to go ahead and start with the 516 area code. You're on the air.
How you doing, Ghost? It's the Ozone.
Hey, how you doing, Ozone?
Pretty good.
Hey, we got somebody else here. Let me get them on the line as well. Somebody from a Skype number. Hold on just a second here. Skype.
Yeah, what's going on, Ghost? Good to hear somebody talking about real conservatism in America and not this phony flag waving bullshit.
I hear you. Now, I wanted to let Ozone in on first, and then you. I believe this. Who is this, by the way?
This OBM.
OBM. I just wanted to hear what each of you had to say. Let's just. We're going to start with Ozone. We're going to go ahead and push it over to you there. Go ahead, Ozone. What do you have to say?
Well, there's a lot to say, but as far as production goes, what people don't understand is that when we produce, it doesn't really matter at this point what's produced, because 95% of what's produced in the world is unnecessary. What's the difference if I buy an iPod and then at the end of the year I throw it out for $500, or if I go to the spa for $500 and at the end of the year I have nothing anyway? We consume everything we produce either way. So, I mean, you know, so it doesn't matter really what you produce as far as production goes, because we're going to consume it no matter what. What's the difference if I bought window shades or if I went to get a massage? At the end of the year, it's all gone because I replace it.
The difference is, Ozone, is that if we don't produce anything, that's an absence of jobs. An absence of jobs
exactly.
means an absence of paychecks. An absence of paychecks means an absence of consumption. I mean, it's just simple economics, man. I mean, we have to start producing something that's going to be able to stimulate the economy and be able to, put America on an economic footing that was comparable to that of the 90s and previous.
But we produce more value in dollar value. We produce more than any other countries in the world. And you know, you say that we don't produce, but we do produce. Let China produce blackboards. Let them produce blackboards and sell it for $6 where there's no profit. Any country that produces something at very cheap prices with very little profit, that's good for us. You know, we need to.
What do we produce, though?
OBM, go ahead, man.
I mean, what are we producing besides Caterpillar tractors? You know, what else are we producing? I mean, I'm with Ghost on this one. I mean, it matters because, like he said, if we're not producing anything, then there are no jobs. Okay, if there's no jobs, then you can't purchase anything. And how do you explain the falling dollar, which now the euro is at an all-time high? It's hitting a record high versus the dollar. For God's sakes, even the peso is worth more than the fucking dollar. It's fucking ridiculous.
Ozone?
First, you keep saying we don't produce, but when you take the dollar value of what we produce and the dollar value of any other country, we produce more. I'm not saying we shouldn't produce. I'm saying we need to produce even more. We need to produce the highest profit products. But we do produce. We produce more than any other country in the world. And
like what, sir? I'm asking you, what products do we produce? I'm in North Carolina. I live in textile country, okay? And, I mean, for over a decade, we've been losing jobs to these other countries like India, not India, but Vietnam, China, you know, all those other places that produce these cheap textiles. I mean, people, it's getting bad out here. We're not... I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, we produce tons of products. We produce millions of products. We produce the dollar value of what we produce is more than anywhere else. The reason why our dollar is falling is because the government's spending more than it collects, and also Americans are spending more than they collect. Then they make $5 trillion in debt is in the public. You know, mortgages and credit cards is $5 trillion in debt, besides the $9 trillion that the government is over budget. So all this extra money that all these people that are spending, when you add money to the money supply, the value of the dollar decreases. Everyone got mortgages, everyone's on credit cards, and when you increase money and there's more money chasing the same number of products produced, the value of the dollar is going to go down. And in China and India, I mean, yeah, they produce, and we're not losing jobs to them. They're going to produce something. You know,
Ozone, what's the biggest employer in America?
I don't know which one is the biggest. It's
Walmart, okay? Now, you compare the Walmart, the biggest employer in America, the average pay when you go in there is $7.50 an hour, okay? Now, this is what I'm talking about. We're not producing anything. You know, before it was, well, car production, or you could name an industry, a sector that, you know, supplied thousands upon thousands of jobs in production. There is nothing produced. You know, OBM asked you, you know, what do we produce? You keep saying we produce a lot of products. You know, we don't produce anything, Ozone. We don't manufacture and produce anything at the source level.
We produce.
I mean, like trucks and stuff. It's a Freightliner plant in the city I live in, and it's a couple of more plants in the county. They have been shutting down because they're losing jobs, you know, producing Freightliner trucks. I'm telling you, man, we don't really produce that much. And I mean, that's why I'm asking you, what do we produce? We're losing jobs, man.
Look, we produce millions of products. You want me to start listing every product we produce? I mean, we produce. The dollar value of what we produce is more than any other country. I don't understand why you say we don't produce when what we produce. We produce fabrics, cars, software, everything. I mean, and also so do other countries. We can't stop them from producing. They're going to produce, and we have to compete. The problem we're having is taxes, high taxes, unions, are making America not the best place to produce. It's better, you know, if you're a business...
Unions. You say unions. Well, what about these unfair trade agreements?
What's unfair? Which trade agreements are unfair?
I mean,
the ones with China, first of all, I mean, those are completely imbalanced. I mean, the way the tariff system goes, it's just against the United States manufacturer's interest to do any other business as far as the manufacturing level is concerned inside of America, and it makes it just comparable to go out to China, because you got a communist government which is utilizing the concept of communism to extort labor out of their people for capitalist gain for the Communist Party. And they're making them do it at a rate that is just unimaginable to the human psyche. 15 cents, 20 cents an hour, and you expect those to compete on the world market based on that type of a level of pay? It's starting to get a little ridiculous, if you will. Or do you think that's right?
I mean, we know they don't tolerate unions in China.
I think that wherever we can get products cheaper, we get them. We buy them for cheaper. If we couldn't buy from China, you think the stores would be full of all the products? Walmart would be empty, and we wouldn't have any products to choose from except for products at 3 times the price. You know, I've always used the example of, let's say some people come from another planet and offer us computers at $2 each. And they're going to sell computers to us for $2 each. Is that good for us? Of course it's good for us. But then this argument that you guys are making is like, oh, it's not good for the computer workers, you know, and it's not good. And, you know, but if we can get computers for cheaper and we can't make it for cheaper than they can offer it, then we're going to be better off. If someone comes from another planet and offers everyone computers for $2 each, we'll be better off.
You know, that theory's good, Ozone, when you had other jobs to supplement those lost in such events. But we don't have jobs to supplement those lost. As a matter of fact, we just keep incurring more and more job loss. And on top of which, we're now considering, under the redefinition of employment out here, we're now counting people that are collecting unemployment as employed. We're also counting those that are, you know, doing seasonal work, part-time work as fully employed. I mean, so a lot of these numbers are being cooked up, and on top of which, I mean, there is no other industry other than what? The service industry to become a waiter? I mean, is that the culmination of the American dream? Is that, hey, you can become a bartender, become a waiter? Or, you know, be somebody, you know, change somebody's bedpan. I mean, is this what the culmination of the American dream is? I mean, I understand your argument. Believe me, it was great when, you know, when somebody lost their job in one sector, they could supplement it by going into another. There's nowhere to go once you lose your job. Or am I wrong?
I think you're wrong. I think that unemployment is lower than it's been for the past 30 years. It's under 5%. I mean, maybe now it ticked up a couple of decimal points, but it's still extremely low. And industries we don't need industries because they give jobs. We don't want to keep an industry just for the jobs. If someone can make something cheaper, then let them make it cheaper. And we need to go into the high-profit industries and the new industries. We need to compete in the new industries, not hold on to jobs. You know, it used to be that the whalers used to make $200,000 a year, and then all of a sudden we stopped using whale oil and we started using oil from the ground, and they all went out of business. And you could say, oh, you know, we lost those jobs. Well, you have to. People have to move into the highest.
Yeah, but what's the supplemental job is what I'm saying. I mean, you know, that theory was good when you had jobs around that those who lost it in a certain industry due to the progression of business and technology, those were able to go into other industries and other sectors to go in and supplement those jobs lost in another sector. OBM, you've been quiet. Go ahead and chime in if you want to chime in.
Well, actually, I was calling in for on a different subject on the issue of conservatism and just how conservatism is just been completely abandoned by the Republican Party. And, you know, I keep coming across these fake conservatives here on Blog Talk Radio who don't even seem to care that John McCain is not a conservative. And, you know, just in, I believe it was the end of March, he gave a speech at the Council of World Affairs where this guy's openly embracing North American and South American integration, embracing the North American Union. And, you know, and I don't hear anybody talking about this. I'm like, this not concern anybody? We have one of the major candidates for president openly embracing globalism, openly embracing the destruction of America's sovereignty. And I don't hear anybody talking about this. And when I bring it up, it's like, oh, well. It's
well,
like
you know,
give a damn.
And I've been attempting to facilitate debate on these subject matters, and of course I've been called a kook and every such name in the book because I was one of the first people that called this man out for what he was. As a matter of fact, I was one of the first people that called out the Republican Party to selling out to this new liberal concept, this new liberal ideology. And you're seeing it right here in John McCain, and that's why I have always said that I have taken the Republican out of this program's name because Republicans no longer abide by the conservative principle. And, you know, the conservative principles are basically those who believe in the Constitution, those who believe in American sovereignty, those who believe that America's interests should be first at hand. And, of course, you've got John McCain obviously not only discrediting himself when it comes to those issues, but other mainstream conservative issues as well. And it seems to me that most Republicans that are trying to disguise themselves as conservatives are just letting it go by the wayside and just say, well, you know what, he's a Republican, we just have to palate it, let's just go ahead and vote for the guy, and I'm not going to do it.
And I mean, earlier you were talking about the economic issues we're facing and how come nobody's talking about it. But actually, Ghost, Ron Paul has been talking about it, and he's been talking about it for quite some time. That is one of the most astute politicians when it comes to economic issues that you have in Washington. He's been talking about the Federal Reserve for a very, very long time. And people are just now becoming aware. I mean, when we pay taxes, we talking about we don't want our tax money to go to pay for this or go to pay for that. When actuality, the money that they take from us pays the interest that they owe the Federal Reserve on the money that they borrow from the Federal Reserve to spend on whatever God-forsaken program they want to spend it on.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I've been trying to talk about economic issues on this program. I wasn't very familiar with Ron Paul's platform on the economy other than, the liberal media out here was really making it apparent that they wanted everybody to know that he was an isolationist and, the other stigmas that were brought upon Ron Paul. But to be honest with you, we need somebody who's going to basically tell us in a straight manner. Remember, I was observing, and I don't watch the media other than for theatrical purposes, because if you're going to utilize the mainstream media as a source for your news and information, you're just an imbecile. But I like to watch it. And you observe the Democratic primary here in Pennsylvania, and you take a look at how they were trying to poll these people, like a bunch of lab rats, like, okay, well, beer drinkers are 43% likely to vote for Hillary. People who own a gun, people most likely who sleep with their mother. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I don't understand how in the world the United States government system, which dictates our lives, can be reduced to a couple of idiots who have a couple of beer bellies in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
any of y'all's comments?
Well, I don't really have anything to say. It is what it is, man. There you go, the dumbing down of America. That's what it is.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I've been suggesting that something needs to be done about it, but I mean, the only way that anybody's ever going to do anything about it is if the people in general start informing each other about situations. I think that true ignorance is not knowing information. It's not wanting to know information. That's true ignorance. And a lot of these people out here just don't want to know. They don't want to participate. They've got one of the greatest tools of information of all time, the Internet, and what are they using it for? They're using it to become a bunch of deviants and to cheat on their significant others, to look at pornography, become a victim of Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator. I mean, this is the ridiculous garbage that we're producing out here, and it's unfortunate that we don't have a more well-informed public. Now,
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's no excuse with the tools we have today, the technology that we have today, the information highway, and yet the sole purpose for most people in using the Internet is for entertainment purposes and not to get information and learn. It's just ridiculous.
Ozone?
Yeah, well, look, that's for sure. I mean, I watch TV and I'm in shock at how these shows, like on MTV and all these reality shows especially, they're so ridiculous and so immoral and so just low class. And these are the shows that are number one, that keep coming over again and again every year, that Americans are watching. And we have so much, we could use television so greatly to educate, to learn, and instead everyone's watching these dating shows and, one guy dating 20 girls at the same time in a house or something like that. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Well, I'd like to approach both of you with this question. Now, you're seeing a complete moral, I would just say backlashing or unloading or bankruptcy, happening in today's society. Now, you can quote the influences of media, institutions, that sort of thing. Is there anything that could remedy this outside any type of religious institution, which I'm not advocating, or any type of indoctrinated thinking? Because, and do you agree with me that this was an agenda all along by preferably liberal people who wanted a semi-communist style regime to eventually flourish through such methods of agitation like political correctness, feminism, those types of things? Either one of you. I mean, people think I'm a crackpipe for thinking it. I just wanted to have your two opinions.
I would I would disagree with you on one point when you say it's liberal. I don't really believe in the left-right paradigm. I believe that when you get to the halls of power, that there really is no difference when you get to the real power, that they're both working together behind the scenes to push forth their agenda. For example, I would put forth to you the 1996 Telecommunication Act, which allowed for a few individuals to buy up all of these radio stations and to control our broadcast medium. That was a bill signed by Clinton, but it was pushed by the Republicans who control Congress. When you look at that, when you look at the deregulation of our airways, when you look at the FCC back during the Reagan years, starting not to enforce decency and obscenity laws, I mean, to me, that's when it started back in the 80s. Back when you had Colin Powell's son, who was appointed to be FCC chairman, and he was really a broadcast lawyer, and so he quit enforcing these laws, and now we see all this garbage on TV. We hear all this garbage on our radio, and of course that contributes to the dumbing down of America. Of course it makes once immoral things seem moral to us. It makes it seem normal to us when in fact it is not normal. The only way we can solve this, man, is one household at a time and say, not in my house, shut off that damn TV, turn off that damn radio.
That's well said. Ozo?
Well, I don't know. It sounds like you want the government to control the media.
No, what I'm saying is we have laws for a reason, sir. We have laws for to protect society. We had decency and obscenity laws in place for the media so that we could not see damn near people having sex on TV at 7 o'clock in the evening when it's family time or supposed to be looking at family television. That type of stuff hurts us as a society. I'm not saying that I want the government to control everything. What I'm saying is that certain laws are good, certain laws are meant to protect us, and particularly those obscenity laws that we had, which are now not being enforced. I'm just asking for them to enforce the law. These laws are still on the books. They haven't been removed. I just want the laws to be enforced. I'm not saying the government can control anything, but look, we got DVDs. If you want to look at some smut, if you want to look at some soft porn, then go buy the DVD and play it on the DVD. I don't think it should be coming across our public airways.
Well, Ozo?
Well, you know what? I agree with you that we should definitely be focusing on different things than the American public is most focused on, but the American people choose. They choose what they want. The problem is that America is making bad decisions. But there's also I have 500 channels. I can watch educational programming all day long if I choose. It's all available. There's the internet. It's all available. It's just Americans are making the wrong choice, and so that's where we have to focus. The problem is that liberals control Hollywood. They block out any conservatives The colleges blocking out any conservatives from getting ahead or becoming professors. The media is 90% reporters are liberals. So, they're actively, aggressively pushing their agenda. We need to fight back, but not by censorship. But it's just that we need to. We're in a big pickle right now with these liberals who have control of these major media industries. But it's Americans who are making a bad choice. That's
Sir, you're misunderstanding me. I'm not talking about cable television. I'm not talking about subscription television. I'm talking about the television that comes across free. I'm talking about the public airwaves. I'm talking about your broadcast television like ABC, NBC that's coming on whenever we turn on our TVs. Look, we can't expect this country not to be affected by such garbage being fed to our brains constantly. And again, it seems like you want to just blame it all on the liberals when you have conservatives who just want to make money, who just want to make money and don't give a damn about this stuff and how it's affecting us as a country as a whole. Again, it was under Ronald Reagan that these obscenity laws stopped being enforced when he appointed a industry broadcast lawyer to that position who was Colin Powell's son. I think blame goes both ways. I mean, I don't hear any conservatives or any Republicans out there talking about this smut other than people like Ghost and people like myself, but certainly not any mainstream media personalities aren't really talking against this stuff. I mean, even pediatrics have done all these studies and told us how this stuff has an effect on our young people's minds, okay? And again, I'm not for total government control. I just want the government to enforce the laws that are on the books. That's all I'm asking for.
And just take a look at what's going on here in society now. You have no longer is the mother and father involved in the family unit any longer. Single parents are now the majority. I mean, this is a pretty sad society when you are making the American family extinct. And, I mean, there's empirical evidence that'll show you. You can read letters of peasants of any monarchy, any horrific regime, any oppressive government, and you will find that the only motivating factor that kept society together was the family. And that's the only thing that kept people going amidst tragedy, amidst oppression, amidst authoritarianism, all that, was the family. And if we don't have the family anymore, well, then what in the blue hell are people going to have to live for when, things start really getting bad out here in America?
Right. And, I mean, look at the high divorce rates. I'm a divorcee myself. But I got married too young, and that's one thing I tell my daughters, look, you got your whole life to get married. Finish your education first. Go get out of college first. Then talk about getting married. See, I didn't have nobody telling me those things. Well, actually, I got married while I was in the military. But I got married at 22 years old. I never should have done it. I did not have that guidance from that male role model to tell me, look, son, you got plenty of time to get married. Why don't you figure out what you want to do with your life first? Wait till you get out the military or whatever. But again, I mean, what are the causes of these high divorce rates? I mean, something is causing this. Our society is on the decline unless we do something to turn it around, man. I'm just afraid for America. Just afraid for it.
Same here. Ozone?
If you want me to argue that we need to focus more on the family, I'm not going to do it. We have to definitely focus on the family. Family is important. Family, someone that gets married and has kids, they're going to be on track. While someone single like me, who doesn't have to worry about responsibility of a wife or kids, is much more really doesn't have, I don't have to work as much. When you have a family, you definitely puts people on a better path, and I definitely think we need to have better family. But look what's going on in Europe, and we need to get better programming. Like, I grew up on Michael Landon, Highway to Heaven, Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie. Every show had a moral lesson that was good, It wasn't, didn't teach us that divorce is okay. Like now we have shows that do that, and the Americans need to get back into Hollywood. Conservatives need to get into Hollywood. Conservatives need to get into the media, and conservatives need to get into colleges. The obscenity laws and all that. I don't know what a big difference that's going to make. Okay, so they'll all be wearing bikinis instead of songs, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. It's going to take hard work. It's not going to be, laws are not going to save us.
Well, sir, you just said we need to get back to wholesome programming. It is because of these obscenity laws not being enforced by the FCC that we no longer have that programming, and the other programming is the norm instead of, I'm losing my train of thought. But I would encourage you to look up the obscenity laws. Look up the obscenity laws. These people are breaking the laws, man. When you have people having sex on television, maybe you may not be seeing everything, but it's clear as to what they're doing. Some of this stuff, if you did in public, you could be arrested for. But yet it's okay to come across through the television screen. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, we need it. It seems like to me you're acknowledging. See, let me put it this way. They call it programming for a reason, okay? Because they're programming our brains. They're programming us to what is acceptable. They're desensitizing us to sex. They're desensitizing us to violence. They're desensitizing us to a number of things and making all of this garbage seem acceptable and seem normal. I mean, we got to make a choice. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you don't want to enforce the laws and you don't care about this garbage coming across on the TV, but yet you acknowledge that back in the day, society was a lot better off when it had wholesome programming, well then, sir, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You just identify what part of the problem is, but yet you don't want to enforce the laws to get us back to that wholesome programming.
I don't know any shows that what shows you think that if the laws were being enforced, I don't know what shows you think would be off the air right now. Which shows are that obscene? I mean, they are completely ridiculous, immoral, and...
See, sir, I don't listen. I don't watch a lot of television. I mostly watch television for news and things of that nature. But, I mean, I have turned or sports, and I watch a lot of sports on television. But when I can't tell you the names of these programs, but I know on one Disney channel, doesn't ABC own Disney or Disney owns ABC? When I'm seeing two men kissing on TV at 7 o'clock p.m., when the laws say this type of stuff should be on the air after 10 p.m. and before 6 a.m. in the morning. See, they're not even enforcing that, sir. They're letting us see all of this garbage during the time that, families and kids are watching television. So I can't tell you the names of all of these programs of what's that one with Paris Hilton, that garbage where her and that other fool running around in Daisy Duke shorts and doing whatever they doing, exploiting themselves sexually. You know what I'm saying? I can't name all of these programs, sir, because we don't watch those programs. I can only tell you what I have seen in browsing through the channels. I mean, you don't think that's a problem when we got, women and men, kissing each other? Not. I'm talking about same-sex stuff coming across the television. What's the problem with it only being regulated to the hours that the FCC set forth, which is after 10 p.m. when most kids will be in the bed, or most people who have to work will be in the bed, and before 6 a.m. Between that, they got all of that time right there. That's over 12 hours. That's over half the day right there where they can show this garbage. But why does it have to come on during the day when kids are watching? Why?
It's the liberal media, man, I'm telling you.
But why isn't the conservatives enforcing the laws? What I'm saying, President Bush, we got a Republican, I dare not call him a conservative, but that's what I'm saying. John McCain, I guess when you say liberal, you don't automatically mean Democrats, right? Because there's a lot of liberals in both parties. when it comes to that kind of
let me tell you something. The Republican Party is a complete liberal coronation. I mean, when I saw them elect John McCain as the candidate, I knew for a fact that the Republican Party was no longer abiding by conservative principles. And the conservative principle was the root foundation of the Republican Party. And, you take a look at some of the laws passed by John McCain. He's literally wiped his derriere with the First Amendment with McCain-Feingold. This is a man who wants to implement more regulation than I've seen in a Republican ever, to be honest with you.
You can say the same thing about George Bush. You can say anything about any presidential candidate that did not eliminate the Department of Education. Bush made a prescription drug plan. Bush is giving a stimulus package to help people who made bad mortgages. I mean, McCain, the more I look at him, I don't see, he has done things that I don't support, but I don't see him as such a liberal. He wants to cut taxes. He understands market and competition. He wants to give vouchers for schools to add competition because he believes competition is the way for better education, not government programs. I
wonder how many of those illegal immigrants going to get those vouchers too. I mean, this man is for, you can't go by what a politician says. You have to go by what they do. You have to look at their history. And I'll take that back. Yeah, you can look at sometimes of what they're saying. Not what they're saying to the voters, but what they're saying to these organizations behind closed doors like the Council of World Affairs. That man is totally for the destruction of American sovereignty. This man is totally embracing globalist government, okay? I believe in getting along with everybody in the world and everything like that, but I also believe in it. I don't think we should have to give up American sovereignty, either. I believe in the Constitution, and the Constitution is against all of this globalist garbage that all three of these candidates are standing for. And so I tell you, man, regardless, I'm making a prediction right now. I will say in the next 4 years, that unless the people of this country really stand up, that this country will not even exist as a nation in 4 years, that we will be the North American Union. We will no longer have the Stars and Stripes, but we'll have some other kind of crap to represent Canada, us, and Mexico in one unholy union modeled after the European Union. I predict that. Because the American people are not paying attention.
What do you think about that, Ozone? I've, delved into that for a little bit as well because I'm out here in Texas, and out here in Texas they are building the NAFTA Superhighway, which is basically connecting everybody from here into the tip of southern Mexico all the way to the northern tip of Canada through highway systems and trade deals. Do you think that maybe not in 4 years, but sometime soon, we're going to merge with the Mexican and the Canadian government?
Absolutely not. We already have highways that go into Mexico, and we already have highways that go into Canada. I don't see that happening.
Why not, sir? When you have all of these think tanks, non-governmental think tanks, who these jokers go and give these speeches to, and they listening to these people when they're openly talking about a North American Union, sir. How can you say you don't see that happening? And then when these bastards say, well, I've never heard of the North American Union, which is a damn lie. Okay, it's a damn lie. George Bush already signed the security, what is it, Ghost? The
Securities and Prosperities Act.
He's already signed that. He's already signed that with Canada and with Mexico, and it's more than just about a highway. It's about a total elimination of our borders for the free flow of goods and people, and the American people are going to get the short end of the stick. They're already talking. I mean, they've already signed this, sir. See, this is what I believe Ghost was talking about earlier. Here we have the internet. All of this information is out there, but yet people are not looking it up. You had, I think, Jerome Corsi of WorldNet Daily wrote a book which documented this extensively. You've had Lou Dobbs talking about it extensively on CNN. Jerome Corsi sent a free copy of his book to every representative in Congress. But yet these jokers act like they ain't never heard of it. They're just liars, sir, and they're setting us up for it.
Well, in Europe, I mean, I'm not for the free flow of people, and Bush is for illegal he wants to give amnesty or whatever. He does want. We need to secure the border, and I'm not for the free flow of people. But as far as products and services, I'm for the complete free flow of products and services and free trade around the world. I think it's not smart to say that if someone else in other countries produces things, because they're going to produce and they're going to grow fast. They're going to grow no matter what. They are going to produce. We have to compete. We cannot stop them by saying, by doing anything other than we don't even want to stop them because we're going to be benefiting from the products and services that they produce.
Sir, I'm not against that. I'm not against trading with other countries as long as those agreements are fair. I'm not against that. That's not what I'm saying.
What does fair mean?
What is fair? Well, sir. I mean, look at what Ghost was talking about earlier when we were talking about China. I mean, it's not fair to the American worker for the Chinese to be able to produce those goods, the same goods that we produce right here, because they have such a large population and they're able to exploit that population. Therefore, they can sell their goods, produce those goods more cheaply, and then bring those goods here. I believe in tariffs, sir. I believe in limiting the amount of goods that China is able to put on our markets. That's what I mean by fair. That's not fair, sir.
So you would be for every product in Walmart being twice the price?
Sir. Again, well, look at what we're facing now. Again, I know you don't agree with us, but we're looking at a loss of jobs, sir. You know, manufacturing is leaving the county that I live in. Okay, sir, you know what I'm saying? What's made in America in Walmart? Tell me. Now, I've done this. I've gone to Walmart trying to find something that was made in America. Could not find it.
Oh, there's tons of stuff that are made in America.
Like what, sir? Like what?
I have a cousin who is in the window shades business. They produce and manufacture window shades. The fabric they buy for the window shades is from companies from the United States and around the world. The companies that they buy the mechanism to operate the shade is from the United States. The workers are in the United States. And what happens? What about a company that instead of going to China just makes their entire factory machinery? What do you say about that? Are you against that? Let's say they fire again. Let's say a company fires 5,000 workers because now they have machines that can do all the work. Are you against that? There's the loss of jobs are there too. But if we get it cheaper, you're not gonna. Are you against the machinization?
No, I'm not against technology, sir. I'm not against technology. No, I'm not. But again, I am against countries like China. I mean, come on, dog. This is like a communist country that's exploiting its own people. I forgot what they pay those people over there. What did you say earlier?
So 15 or 20 cents an hour.
I mean, how the hell can we as American workers compete with that? We can't live off of that here in this country.
I got to put you on hold for a second. I'll be back, though.
All right. But you're bringing a good point. I mean, this is what I keep telling everybody out here who's thinking that China's a great country. I mean, you've got people out here trying to make the debate that somehow China's going to go ahead and be some sort of the next big billion people democracy. It's a farce. It's a farce.
They're not ever going to become a democracy, sir. Right now, they're involved in colonialism in Africa. They just sent a whole bunch of weapons to Zimbabwe to try to uphold that crook down there, Robert Mugabe. Okay, the Chinese government is about about themselves, about those in powers, like those I heard, like the ones who own the big corporations and the manufacturing over there. Those are the sons of the generals who helped Mao Zedong. Okay, these are communists, right? And then, you know, what sense does it make? Then I keep hearing people talk about terrorism. You know, we need to stay in Iraq. We're spending $12.5 billion to secure Iraq. Okay, how about securing our own damn country first? Okay,
I agree.
That money would be well spent right here. How come we can't spend $12.5 billion a month building up our own damn country? You know, it just makes no sense. And then to be going into debt with a country like China, one of our arch enemies, does that make any sense at all, Ghost? Does that make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense, because here you are, they're making all kinds of dollars off of the manufacturing they're doing in their country, and we're consuming it, you know, like lab rats run into a food pellet. We're just consistently consuming the manufacturing goods. And what is the Communist Party doing with the generated revenues from those manufacturing goods? They're buying nuclear weapons and pointing them right at America. I mean, and this is proven. It's on the Internet. I mean, anywhere you want to look at it. That's exactly what they're doing. And nobody's talking about this.
All of these treasury bills where all they got to do is just liquidate their holdings and bring about economic collapse in this country. Is anybody got a damn brain paying attention to this?
No, obviously not. I mean, and this is what's unfortunate, is that everybody's out here more worried about if they're going to get the $4,000 plasma screen TV, or if they're going to go out and make sure they have enough money to go to the bar on the weekend. Nobody's concerned about the government, and that's the way the institutions have us. You know, this ridiculous public education system removes cognitive reasoning from our brains. Not only that, they don't even teach us how to participate in this government that was built for the people, by the people. And when you have a supposed power, which that's what we are, according to the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and those documents written by our forefathers, I mean, this government is supposed to be run by us. But when we're asleep at the wheel, those of us that are basically just forgetting about the government and just kind of more worrying about monetary accumulation and materialistic gain, I mean, they completely forget the fact that if they don't participate in this government that was built for them, it's no longer going to be built for them, and it's not going to have their interest at hand. And that's why you have corporate interest, you have lobbyists, you have other people that are able to buy these politicians, and then they wonder why in the hell they're going, the country's going in hell in a handbasket.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, come on, common sense should tell you, and one thing I agree with what the other caller said, you can't spend more money than you're taking in, okay? The Federal Reserve just can't be printing up billions of dollars and then it's not going to have an effect on us, okay? And again, all the money they take from us, we're not paying for it. We're paying for the interest on the money that our government borrowed from the Federal Reserve. And if people will look at the Constitution, Congress is the one who's supposed to be issuing money, not the Federal Reserve. Why are we paying a bunch of private bankers? Again, that's where our tax dollars go towards, paying the interest on them printing up the money that our government uses as currency. How come we can't buy our own doggone printing machines and print up our own damn money? Why we got to pay a bunch of private bankers to do that?
Well, you know, that goes back some ways to the Woodrow Wilson situation and history. And what's unfortunate about that is you've got a media, especially, you know, when you look at MTV, when you look at this materialism just bombarding the airwaves, materialism without any type of hard work. You know, the generations previous understood hard work. You know, you worked hard and you bought something, you owned it, and you worked hard for it. We're producing a generation that just continuously wants to accumulate materials, and what they don't understand is that the currency or the tool given to us to accumulate these materials, they don't understand the meaning of it or the origins of it. They don't even understand why this paper, this green paper with an old president on it, has any type of meaning to be exchanged for a material. And that's what's unfortunate. I mean, and of course you have these ridiculous public education system, these public institutions that are not teaching our kids properly. I bet you if you go up to anybody here in America and ask them, where does money come from, they're just going to say the government.
Right. And it doesn't. It comes from the Federal Reserve. And just because it has federal in the name does not mean it's part of our government. It is not. It is owned by private individuals, and they won't even make their list of stockholders public. But we know David Rockefeller is one of them. But, I mean, it is a private institution. And most of our taxes, well, all of our taxes that we pay every year is not paying for these programs that we enjoy. It's paying for the interest that our government owes these people. Just the interest alone.
Well, the interest on the debt is $400 billion a year, and the government is collecting this year $2.7 trillion.
Jesus. That's what I'm talking about. It's crazy.
So
that's why McCain is great. Because that's why I like McCain. He never took an earmark. He's for cutting spending. That's the key. I mean, sure, who we're borrowing the money from is, you know, you can complain about that, but the bottom line is that the government is spending more than it's taking in. So that the problem is
we shouldn't have to borrow money. The Constitution says Congress is supposed to issue our money. How come you mean to tell us the United States, as great as it is, cannot afford its own printing press and issue it in the name of Congress like the Constitution calls for? See, that's the problem with our country. That's why our country is in trouble, because we don't know the Constitution, so therefore we don't stand up for the Constitution.
If the government prints more money, it's going to devalue the dollar even more. It's not like that we can just print money and it's not going to cost.
Sir, that's not what I'm talking about, sir. You're not understanding me, sir. I'm saying the government doesn't print up money, period, sir. Tell me what government agency prints up our money.
Oh, yeah, well, but my point is that the issue is that the government is spending more than it collects in taxes. That's the problem. I mean, how we, you know, the solving the problem is not by continuing to do that and then printing money.
That's not what I'm saying, sir. And I agree with you. To solve this problem is to reduce the size of government, to reduce the money that it is spending out. I agree with you, sir, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm also saying that we need to return to the Constitution and the way it prescribes for Congress to issue our money instead of letting it be in the hands of private bankers who we don't even know who they are. They won't even make the stockholders list public. That's what I'm saying, sir. It is unconstitutional for the Federal Reserve to be in charge of printing up our money. Maybe that's the problem. We got a bunch of private bankers out there running it in charge of the money supply instead of our government through Congress like the Constitution says.
Well, our Congress is in charge. They decide who they're going to borrow from. They decide to spend more than they collect, just like with the lobbyists. It's not the lobbyists' fault. I'm not against lobbyists. There should be as many lobbyists as are possible, because lobbyists are special interests that come to Congress with interests of specific groups of Americans, and that's the American's voice. When the lobbyist goes from this group or that group and says, hey, this is our position, and sure, they try to bribe the politicians, but the problem is not the lobbyists. The problem is the politicians who accept the bribe, not the lobbyists. We can't stop lobbyists. We want every different group to be able to go to government and lobby them, and say this is what we want. And everyone, but the problem is not the lobbyists. The problem is the government politicians who accept the bribes.
Sir, I really don't think you understood what I was talking about as far as the Federal Reserves. Okay, and lobbyists are a problem. They may not be the sole problem, but they are a corrupting influence. So to say simply that, they're not the problem, them offering politicians bribes or whatnot isn't a problem, I don't think that's true, sir. I mean, come on. I mean, yes, no politician doesn't have to accept that bribe, but both of them are committing a crime. When that lobbyist presents that bribe and when that politician accepts that bribe, both have committed a crime and both are equally responsible. But, you know, again, you keep saying McCain's never taken an earmark. Oh, well, I've heard different. I haven't really looked into it, but I've heard different. But I do know for a fact that his campaign is staffed with a whole bunch of those K Street lobbyists, a whole bunch of them, sir.
Right, but we don't elect the lobbyists. I mean, the oil industry or the computer industry or the teachers union or whoever it is, they should have a right to lobby the government. They should have a right to go to the government and say, this is what we need, this is what we want. That's, you know, and we don't elect the lobbyists. We elect the politicians. They're the ones that we elect, and they're the ones that are taking the money and taking and selling out their position for money.
Sir, but we don't have that access that lobbyists have because we don't have the money that these lobbyists have. We don't have that same access to our representatives. They're supposed to be representing us, not 501 groups, okay, not corporations. And it is a fact that some of these lobbyists have even written the bills that have been introduced and made into law. Now, who's supposed to be writing the bills? Is it supposed to be the politicians or the lobbyists? We have lobbyists writing bills. They weren't elected.
Well, that's the politicians' fault. That's
anyway,
not the lobbyists' fault.
Ghost, I gotta run, man. Thanks for taking my call and keep standing up for true conservatism. You have a good day.
No problem. Thank you very much, OBM. Well, Ozone, you know, some pretty spirited debate there. But the thing about it is that there's things I agree and disagree with both of you guys on. The problem is, though, is we definitely have to get down to things that affect Americans, though, Ozone. I know it's obvious that you've thrown your hat in for McCain, but McCain doesn't have America's interest at hand. I haven't, other than he wants to make tax cuts and other such things, he's not proposing any type of remedies to build consumer confidence. And as a result, if we don't have consumer confidence back intact, you know, business owners, you know, particularly which those that I know personally in my local chambers of commerce are going to go out of business. And the only people that are going to prevail are those that are on the corporate front, and the only reason that they're going to prevail is because they're multinational corporations. That's why, I mean, not only do I have disdain for John McCain, but I also don't like anybody on the left, and I'd be damned if I vote for anybody on the left. But John McCain is not a conservative. I mean, he, you know, based on social conservative principles, but also based on his economic principles. I mean, and this is where, you know, you and I disagree. I know that you're saying that if low taxes go to the manufacturers, that somehow they're going to magically bring back manufacturing to America. It's not going to happen because they'll bring back manufacturing to America, but American workers are going to want to be paid a certain wage, and it's not going to be comparable to the wages paid to the Chinese person who is dictated to work by the Chinese government for 15, 20 cents an hour. And this is the problem with our economy, Ozone. Don't you agree?
I don't agree. First of all, it's consumer confidence and all that. You know, when you watch the media and you hear all the stories and all the propaganda, you think like, oh, no consumer confidence. But that's not true. People are spending through their nose. People are buying things that they don't even need. People are buying houses that they can't afford. They're buying cars that they can't afford. They're buying everything that they see on TV or that they see in the store that they want. They buy it, and now they're getting squeezed. They can't afford to buy more because they were so confident and they're so living in such a Garden of Eden and spending so much. we live in a Garden of Eden of products, and everyone is eating them up like crazy. I don't see people struggling. Like, I see people struggling wearing brand name clothing, and I don't see that. And also, I see a great economy, but the thing is that other countries are now producing, and they are going to continue to produce. China does not force people to work for 20 cents. They work because there's no other jobs there, and they're going to work for 20 cents no matter what, and they're going to produce, and we have to compete. The world has been asking themselves for 30, 40, 50 years, why are we outsourcing all our jobs to America? And the answer was because America was the best place to do business. It was security, and you get credit for what you produce. And now the problem is that that's changing because of taxes and unions, pensions, employee health care, and all those things. We're not going to stop other countries from producing.
So when it comes to pensions, now, do you think that those who put in on pensions, specifically those who gave, $100 each check to a pension, you think that they don't deserve that money put in? Is that what you're saying?
I believe they deserve if they deserve it, but if they put it into they should be responsible. Everyone should be responsible for their own stuff, and businesses should be responsible for producing a product efficiently. The problem is that anytime you have a third party in a deal, which is like with pensions, the workers should have invested in a private business pensions or like private insurance that they trust, so they won't get screwed. Every business that the unions force pensions, all these businesses, they don't even have the pension money in the bank. They already spent it. Third parties, we need the workers to get their own pensions, not through the not through the company. Companies, I don't understand why companies that produce mattresses have to also provide pensions and health care for their workers. And it doesn't make any sense. And as long as that continues, people are going to get screwed. The workers are going to get screwed. Workers should get paid the money from the company. Whatever they were going to spend on the pension, the company should just pay the worker. Let the worker go into a private competitive market for pensions and decide which pension plan they want to sign up for and pay into it on their own. Anytime you have the government, these kind of programs where the company's involved or where the government's involved, it's going to collapse, and then people are going to get screwed. I mean, just like with Social Security, everyone's paying into it, but the money isn't even there.
I agree.
It's got to be up to private markets.
Well, Ozone, I'm going to go ahead and cut the show short here. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Do you want to go ahead and plug your show?
The show is Political Intervention, blogtalkradio.com/Democrats Are Lost. Thanks for taking my call, and I hope to hear you more often.
Thanks, Ozone. I appreciate you calling in like always, man.
You too. Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too.
Well, folks, and that concludes the show. I mean, I'm pretty much emotionally drained, and, whenever I talk politics, specifically whenever, I get a little heated debate going on out here. But I just want to let everybody know I'm sorry. It doesn't seem the same without the chat room out here. And once again, we're having technical difficulties with the chat room. So I'm sorry if you weren't able to get to us. This is a Blog Talk Radio technical difficulty issue, and I'm sorry once again. But I'm going to start coming up on here more often. We're going to talk about more political issues. Hopefully we'll have the damn chat room up in session. Please check us out in the archive, folks. Check us out in the archives, and I'm telling you right now, everything I've said about the Clinton slime machine, I've said it since day one. I've told you all so I hope every one of y'all understands that when Ghost prognosticates, he prognosticates with the best of them, folks. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this short because it just seems a little weird without any kind of chat room here. I mean, I'm used to seeing some instantaneous responses from folks. I really do miss that sort of thing, and it makes me want to puke up because these damn Blog Talk Radio Network jagoffs can't get the damn thing straight. But I beg you to please add me to your favorites or get back to me on my MySpace, folks. www.myspace.com/ghostpolitics. That's GHOST politics. And add me to your friends list. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to be in this kind of early. I'm looking at the switchboard here. It seems like Blog Talk Radio is giving me some crap with the switchboard, too. So not only is this damn chat room not working, the switchboard's going haywire. Anyway, folks, let me tell you something. I don't give a damn if I have high blood pressure. I don't give a damn if I have a damn coronary on the air here on this broadcast. I don't give a damn. The problem is that America needs to wake up. They need to take their heads out of their clogged up colon pipes, and they need to understand that this country is going down the tubes. Economically, we are sucking the damn tailpipe of a 57 Chevy, and I think that everybody needs to take their damn mouths off of it and start understanding that we need to have America's interest at hand, for Christ's sake. You piece of crap. And that's all I'm suggesting to folks out here. Let's start worrying about things economically. Let's start worrying about the social landscape of America. Let's start looking at things like the feminist movement and how it's contributing to the decimation of the American family. Let's take a look at the fact that basically the feminist movement has turned the average everyday woman into a subliminal prostitute. All right? And let's fundamentally look at that. You need to look at that, dissect that, understand that. Understand that there's just a direct correlation with a man losing his job and divorce. You have to understand, folks, we're losing the sanctity. We're morally bankrupt. We're also economically almost bankrupt, folks. We need to take our heads out of our asses, and we need to start worrying about something that's going to benefit America. We need to start begging these damn politicians to start talking about things that are going to affect America. I mean, this is all I'm saying, folks. Tired of these jagoffs that are trying to claim that they're conservatives, trying to claim that they're for America, when they're not talking anything to America's interest out here. I mean, we were talking about how the liberal media is just, shoveling all this filth in our faces. You can't even look on a regular broadcast channel at 7 p.m. when we're supposed to be sitting down and watching TV with the family without having some sexual deviancy being exposed to our faces, to our children, this ridiculous violence, all this mumbo-jumbo. And you see, anybody that tries to talk about this subject matter, they get brandished by being too moral. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely sickening, folks. You people need to get a grip and understand that what we're seeing out here in everyday America is not normal, okay? The reason you're probably unhappy and you have several different divorces if you're a woman is because what you're doing is not normal. Subliminally prostituting yourself is not normal. What you people need to do is get a grips of yourself. All right? Look at yourself in the mirror and say, you materialistic jagoff. All right? We need a new sphere of consciousness out here. All right? Let's stop morally bankrupting each other. It's not okay to be a philanderous whorebag, all right? It's not okay to be a sexual deviant. And what you morons need to understand is that you need to get some moral integrity in yourselves out here because nobody else has it. You're not going to get it from the damn liberal media. You're not going to get it from this piece of trash, political correct, feminist, political public education institution. You're not going to get it from this crap. You need to get it from yourself. You need to get it from your human instincts. You need to understand that the feelings that you're feeling is not something out of the ordinary, that it's normal, for Christ's sake. You've got these stupid liberal feminists out here that are trying to convey to you, they're trying to infect your head that the decimation and the extinction of the American family is somehow equated to social evolution. And it's not, folks. It's not, and everybody out there needs to take their heads out of their ass and need to start recognizing that crap. And I know I'm getting a little hyper out here. I know the blood pressure is pumping through me, but I've got it. Let me tell you something, folks. I really mean this crap. I really mean this crap. Anyway, folks, before I sit here and have a damn coronary, I want everybody to go ahead and get back to me. www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Add me to your favorites. Add me as your favorite DJ, whatever the case might be. You will get an email every time I have a spontaneous broadcast, such as this one right here. And I'm going to have many of them, folks. I know I've been fairly inconsistent, but I'm going to continue to have them. The only difference is that they're going to be rather spontaneous. And I'm sorry for that, folks. But, you know, the old doctor says you better cut down on screaming your damn head off or you're going to keel over at the table. But anyway, folks, add me to your MySpace, add me to your favorites, do whatever it takes. This is true conservative radio, not this ridiculous Republican mumbo-jumbo that you hear out here, these morons calling themselves conservatives when they don't have a conservative principle in their body. This is true conservative radio, folks. And if you're a part of the conservative movement, by all means, folks, I beg you to email this show and any show that you listen live or in the archive, email it to friends, email it to foes, email it to anybody who will get a rise out of them, because let me tell you something, folks, some of these people need to get smacked upside their fat jelly asses, and that's what I'm here to do. Need some straight talk, for Christ's sake. True conservative principles. All right, we need some moral integrity back in America, for Christ's sake. That's why I'm up here screaming my head off. That's why I'm out here calling out these hairy armpitted feminist bull dykes. That's why I'm out here calling out these political correct, male-using loofah, having manicured pieces of fruity-ass trash. That's why I'm calling them out, folks. I'm calling them out because I want America back, damn it. And you should too, folks. You should too. If you want to sit over here and accept the pussification, the absolute pussification of America, well, then you go ahead and stick a Kentucky Fried Chicken grease thumb up your colon pipe, and you accept it, but I'm not going to accept it, folks. I'm not going to accept it, and you shouldn't accept it either. You shouldn't accept it either. I'm telling you, folks, I'm getting this. I'm getting high blood pressure up in here. I'm breathing hard, for Christ's sake. I might have a goddamn coronary, but I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn, folks. I don't give a damn because I'm passionate what I believe in. I mean what I say what I mean. All these other jagoffs in the blogosphere, all these other pricks that are out here in the Blog Talk Radio Network, they talk out of both sides of their mouths. They're out here thinking they're one thing, but in actuality they're something else. But let me tell you something, folks. Whenever I tell you something, whether it's on this airwaves, on a blogosphere, or wherever the blue hell I may be, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, for Christ's sake. And let me tell you something, folks, that's why I haven't been on here, because of the health problems that is incurred by me sitting on the Blog Talk Radio Network and trying to talk about my politics, trying to talk about my social views. Because I'm passionate about it, damn it. I'm passionate about it. And you should be too, for Christ's sake. I'm stumbling over my own tongue like Al Gore trying to explain how he invented the damn internet. You should be too, for Christ's sake. I'm telling you, I said I was going to cut this show short, but let me tell you something. The passion, man, the passion is coming through me, folks. It's coming through me out here, and I'm telling you, I mean what I say what I mean. I love conservatism. You know, I'm a true conservative. And it's unfortunate that, you know, conservatism is just being, you know, shoved out the window like a piece of disposable road trash. It's sad, you know, it really is sad. Anyway, folks, I know I said I was going to cut this short. We're finally going to cut it short. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But let me tell you something, folks. blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Go ahead and add me as one of your favorite disc jockeys or whatever you call these little fruity-ass names out here. Go ahead and add me. because let me tell you, you're going to get a direct email from whenever I decide to have a spontaneous live show. And let me tell you something, whether you're listening to me live or in the archive, you definitely want to listen to Ghost out here, because I'm telling it how it is, all right? I'm telling it how it is. I'm a true conservative. All these other jagoffs out here that are tickling their colon pipes, there ain't nothing but a bunch of liberal, pansy-ass, loofah-using bastards. That's what they are, folks. That's what they are. Anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody out there who's a true conservative, who listens to me on a consistent basis. I thank you very much, folks. True conservative values are in effect out here, and let me tell you something. If you're voting for John Turncoat McCain and you're a conservative, well, take the goddamn conservative out of your name. If you're a conservative and you're voting for these blatant Marxist pieces of trash, Obama or Clinton, take the damn conservative out of your name, because you're not a conservative, you piece of trash. That's right, you're not a conservative. You don't stand for conservative principles, you piece of crap. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in with me. Until next time, folks, be sure to listen to me in the archive or try to catch me whenever I have a spontaneous live show. Until then, folks, thank you very much for listening. Long live the conservative movement and death to feminism. And I'm out.
A Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolor paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.